It just got very real as we have multiple huge reports, including one big one surrounding Damian Lillard and his future with the Boston Celtics. We're going to break down this exact report, discuss what it means going forward, as well as a few other interesting updates. But, folks, things have taken a turn for the good, and it has gotten extremely real surrounding Damian Lillard and the Boston Celtics. We're going to break down these new reports, discuss what this means going forward, as well as a few other things. But before we get into it all, if you're a part of the percentage or aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Celtics content. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. And thank you guys again for your continued support over here as we're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. And we just hit 7,000. So thank you guys for that. But, folks, in the middle of what's been a very interesting free agency thus far for the Celtics, obviously a couple trades, signing here and there, Luka Garza. They are in the middle of what seems to be a retool year, rebuild year next season. Of course, while they wait for Damian Lillard or for Jayson Tatum to rehab, but all signs point to a brand new report that dropped just a little bit ago, an hour or two ago, from Evan Siddery, but also from the Boston Globe. There's mutual interest between Damian Lillard and the Celtics on a potential partnership per G. Washburn Globe. Lillard would be able to rehab his torn Achilles alongside Tatum, who suffered the same injury. Now, this is very intriguing because I had a video on this a couple of days ago, and it was initially, speculative. There wasn't a ton of reports. There were some rumblings out there that, the Celtics, alongside the Lakers and a couple other Bucks as well, were or not the Bucks, sorry, the Lakers, the Celtics, and a few other teams were among the runners for the former Buck, Damian Lillard. And things have since then have gotten very, very real here. Brand new report has dropped from a very reputable reporter, and let's dive right into the report here. But, folks, buckle up because it's going to be an interesting one. The Boston Celtics have been very active this summer as they accommodate the injury to Jayson Tatum. As they prepare for what will likely be a down year, they've been mostly selling some of their older, more established players. And, of course, according to NBA insider Scott Burgess, however, they are in advanced stages of working out a deal to bring in the all-star guard. Now, I will dive into, that report in a minute here, but here's what the report was from the Boston Globe, and then we're going to dive into Scott's report, which is a bit less credible, but also very interesting. Here's a report from the Boston Globe. When Lillard was seeking a trade from the Portland Trailblazers 2 years ago, he wasn't interested in a trade to Boston. Now, Lillard has some interest in the Celtics, in part because of the close friendship he's built with star forward Jayson Tatum, and this is from a very reputable reporter from the Boston Globe. There's now been multiple reports linking Damian Lillard to the Celtics. We think back to the report a few days ago. We think back to this report. And, of course, now we're talking about a player in Damian Lillard who not only makes a ton of sense for the Celtics, and, of course, I covered this in yesterday's video, but I'll go over it again here. Like, rehabbing with Jayson Tatum, who is by all accounts, a good friend of Damian Lillard's. I mean, it makes all the sense in the world. You get to rehab alongside your friend, the exact same injury, the exact same timeline, essentially, and they're both going to be coming back then the exact same year on a team that is just a year removed from winning. At that point, will be 2 years removed from winning the NBA championship. It makes all the sense in the world. And for a guy like Dame, who at one point showed hesitancy and resentment towards not necessarily the Boston Celtics, but hesitancy towards joining the Celtics via trade when, of course, the Trailblazers were looking to shop him, now he seems fairly all in here, and at least at this point. And the reason this is such a big report is because we haven't heard any other firm reports from any of the local reporters of the other teams surrounding Damian Lillard. So that's what makes this report that much more meaningful and actually, impactful as it pertains to a trade happening. And there's also been some, rumblings around the edges. And again, as soon as Damian Lillard was waived by the Celtics, a few teams initially came into spotlight by, some reporters, including, like I mentioned, the Boston Celtics, the Lakers, not really the Lakers, Celtics, a bunch of other teams, right? Just a ton of teams that, just because of the fact that it will be for cheap. Now, I don't think the Lakers are going to get him. I think the Celtics have a very, very good chance. There's a few other teams kind of waiting in the woodworks. The Heat are as well, I think, one of the more notable teams here. But we can also dive into a couple of other things. Now, keep in mind, this is from Scott Burgess, and take this one with a huge grain of salt. Now, he tweeted 20 hours ago. He has 1,000 followers on Twitter. He's not, one of those. He's gotten things right in the past, which is why it gained traction. He's one of those, again, he's not Shams of the world, but he did say Damian Lillard has been in constant contact with both Jayson Tatum and Brad Stevens. All signs point to him signing in Boston, I'm told by my Connect. Again, he has 1,000 followers, but do with this information what you will. I'm just going to present the information. So that came out, and then a Yahoo article dropped basically saying that they are in advanced stages of working out a deal. And the full post is basically quoting what Scott said in its entirety. So the Celtics have been very active this summer, blah, 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 all that. I'm told Jayson Tatum has been in contact with Damian Lillard every single day since the guard got released from the Bucks. Damian Lillard is meeting with the Celtics on July 7th, which is tomorrow, supposedly. That's what I've been told. Lucky to have such a behind-the-scenes connection. The meeting is private. Nobody outside of the Celtics organization is supposed to know. Like, verbiage like that makes me, not believe it, but I did want to present it to you anyways. It was posted by Yahoo. So the either it's a huge coincidence or this guy actually has sources, because this was a day ago, and then a day later, the day before the supposed meeting, a Boston Globe reporter comes out and says that it is the case. They do have a close friendship. And I mean, if we hear that there is a meeting tomorrow by a reputable reporter at some point today, then of course maybe we can start chalking it up to, okay, hey, maybe this is actually a legit report. And I just kind of wanted to give you guys the entire, story here for, all the different reports. Again, this came out yesterday. I saw it. I didn't want to cover it fully because I wasn't 100% sure. And then, of course, now with this new report, it makes this one more credible, even though, he's gotten things absolutely right in the past. You can see this here. It's been reported twice by the Boston Globe that there is mutual interest in the Celtics and Lillard. So, yeah, it's real. Could be happening soon. So there's a lot of fire. I mean, a lot of smoke. And where there's smoke, there's fire. And I think ultimately for this Boston Celtics team, it makes the most sense, especially for a team now that was in luxury tax torture, I guess we can call it, and they were going through it. They got rid of Jrue Holiday. They got rid of Jayson Tatum. They got rid of Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porziņģis in order to, of course, keep Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown. And they're still looking at trading Anthony Simons. They're still looking at trading Sam Hauser. Of course, no deals have materialized yet. And I think that Damian Lillard could be a reason why this team actually holds off and then really makes a push in 2027. But let me know down below what your thoughts are on that. Of course, it's going to be very interesting. I mean, you look at his stats, 25 points a game. He is going to be someone that absolutely would help this team. Like, there's no doubt about it. He's an extremely good player. And I think even recovering from an Achilles injury, for the veterans minimum that he's going to be, commanding, at least in his first year back, or maybe even for this year, rehabbing his injury, there is a chance he comes back to the later portion of this year. I would assume him and Tatum are going to take the year off, but you never know. With him back alongside Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, like, you're almost reconstructed somewhat of a super team. You need defense, and again, obviously not a super team, but a very competitive team. Not going to hyperbolize a little bit there. Obviously, a very competitive team, and that's ultimately the biggest goal here, especially with the reconstruction of the rosters. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on that. Before we wrap up, I saw an article drop saying that the Celtics are the loser of NBA free agency, and I just wanted you guys to let me know down below in the comment section, do you think the Celtics are the loser of early NBA free agency? Of course, they made their moves. They made some interesting ones. Kristaps, Jrue Holiday. I actually think the trades they made were good. Of course, they haven't brought in any NBA free agents, so if it's going just based off of that, I guess it makes some sense. But at the end of the day, I think overall, this team Brad Stevens has done a very good job. You got positive assets back for Jrue Holiday, a player you had to move. Kristaps Porziņģis trade was just a salary dump. It's an interesting one. And of course, it's not done yet. If they make a move for Damian Lillard, I'm sure that will increase their grade. If they make a trade, I'm sure that will increase their grade. But being one of the losers of NBA free agency thus far, I think it's a little bit harsh, especially given the fact that I think they've gotten max value for almost every single trade that they have done. And it was just a bit interesting. Again, it doesn't really matter. It's just an article, but I did want to bring it up because I want you guys to leave in the comment section what you think of the NBA free agency so far for the Boston Celtics. If you're happy overall, because we've had some time now to kind of, take a step back, relax a little bit, and figure out kind of what this team is going to look like. I don't think they're going to be extremely competitive next season, but I also don't think that they're going to be, completely out of the realm of, a possibility that they're actually a decent East team, especially with how open the East is. But let me know down below what your thoughts are on that. New reports swirling. We're going to keep you up to date every step of the way. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Cheers.